What's up, everybody? We're back once again with another edition of Sold Separately. We're talking about probably, arguably, the best figures in the business. WWE Elite and Ultimate Edition, including some ringside exclusives. I'm stoked to get into it. Let me introduce you to my co-host, Head of Opinions, all the way out in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Anthony Ricciardi, what's going on?
How you doing? This is always fun to do. Obviously, today's episode is going to be exclusive WWE figures. The previous we've done AEW solo ones, so these are a few WWE ones that have been in the back burner that we've been meaning to cover for a while. So let's get into them, Clark.
Absolutely. I'm stoked to talk about it. And I know you normally introduce all of the figures,
Yes.
but I do want to introduce these out of the gates because while it's WWE and it's elite, in the words of my grandma Mary, these are an ECW. It's ECW.
Yeah. The Dudleys are arguably the most decorated tag team that's been in the business. They've held tag team gold everywhere they've been. WWE, ECW, technically WCW under the WWE banner, NWA, TNA, New Japan, I think All Japan as well. Yeah, they've held them all, and obviously, arguably, they're the most successful thing to ever come out of ECW.
No question.
As far as in-ring talents,
I think.
as far as how they've dominated everywhere, and when you look at the spark of tag team wrestling in WWE, they added a lot to the mix with the Hardys and Edge and Christian. That trio turned tag team wrestling, which was not something that WWE heavily promoted, into something that was a main event, that was a must see.
Yep.
So to see the Dudleys now under a Legends deal, under the getting elite ringside collectibles, these are obviously the ones with the ECW tag titles.
So cool that the titles come with.
One of the funny things is, and I know Mick Foley has said this about the Dude Love shirts. I want to say Bubba may have said this about the Dudley shirt. The reason WWE really didn't do them was because it's very hard to get consistency with tie-dye. So you couldn't get them exactly the same, which is kind of funny when you see it in figure form because you're like, well, what's the difference? When you print them up. I mean, granted, the design was actually ECW's design at the time. WWE didn't own it, so they probably couldn't have released that version anyway. But they were on TV wearing them in the very beginning when they came in.
No, I mean, it's their most iconic look in my eyes as a fan of the Dudleys.
Yes.
Whether you're a WWE fan of them, maybe we get the camo, right?
The camo to me is what's iconic from their WWE run. It's that and the.
But this is the Dudleys. This is the Dudley family, right? Like
this is
BD Dud and all of the other Dudleys.
I gotta be honest. I kind of wish on
Sun Guy Dudley.
I kind of wish on the box they didn't spell Bubba as Bubba. They spelled it B-U-H
with the H's. I think that is a stone unturned. That's a great call.
Because that was the stuttering.
Yep.
Ray Dudley. That was the gimmick. Now, granted, I know that's probably not the right thing to do now, but as a whole, I mean, he is wearing the Confederate flag bandana, which is controversial in itself.
Well, they took the stars off of it.
They did it, yeah. But that's what it's supposed to be. But yeah, it's very cool to see the Dudleys, their ECW representation. It would have been kind of cool if you would have packaged it with the WWF and WCW tag titles, so you had the three, which would have been kind of cool. But yeah, the Dudleys are great. We saw them reunited at NXT 2300 a few weeks back, and no question, arguably probably the greatest tag team of all time.
Absolutely, I would agree 100%. Let's move on to our next figure, though.
Yes,
this is Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, this is an Ultimate Bray Wyatt. Obviously, I guess the blue and the white, I'm assuming it's from the Pitch Black. Otherwise, I don't know what that's from, to be perfectly honest.
Truthfully, I actually believe that some of these were plans for the future
The
on the right
concept,
side, especially the
yeah,
concept, and then the from the pitch black match is the one on the left. And I think
yeah,
that's what you're getting in the Ultimate Edition, which is pretty darn incredible.
yeah. It looks like you have multiple different heads. You could do the regular head with, I guess, raccoon eyes. It looks a little black, and then I
Yes.
guess the other one is the fiend, which would be it comes with the lantern, comes with the multiple arms, multiple
I
hands.
do believe that's how they were gonna have the Fiend character return,
Yeah,
was the plan, and the because of the drawings. When you
yeah.
watch the
Oh
documentary,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
right figure is very similar to what the drawings were.
Yeah.
And I think that this was in the plans, which makes it so unique and so cool. If you're a lifelong fan of Bray Wyatt, this is
Yeah.
a must, an
Yeah.
absolute must.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I don't really recall anybody else where they've made figures of a concept. Now, granted, this is a unique situation, but in general, we have seen wrestlers
Right.
before where we've seen concept drawings. I think the only other one, and it really wasn't even a concept, but they released an Ultimate Kane, and it had the cape, which apparently he only wore like on one or two house shows, but photos obviously had come out over the years of him wearing the cape, but he never wore it on TV. But they did include it with the Ultimate Kane figure when they released it. But yeah, Bray, obviously, anytime you're able to immortalize somebody that, granted, he was around a short time, but left an impact, it's very cool. I mean, obviously, you and I have covered Brody Lee
Oh,
with the
yes.
Jazzwares fairly recently. So
Deeply.
it's always very cool that you're able to still do it, even
Keep
though
them
the person,
immortalized as
yes,
well. Bray
yeah,
Wyatt, we love so much. I
yeah.
mean, I had to announce it on air. It was gut wrenching. Like,
You and I, you
just
and I were on
rest
it.
in
Yeah,
peace. We
yeah,
love it. Just an amazing,
yep,
amazing performer and amazing wrestler. And this is
yep,
a really cool piece.
yep.
It's a really cool set to check out. But let's
Mhm.
keep it rolling. Let's talk
Yes,
about Finn Balor,
yes,
Judgment Day iteration,
yeah. I mean, it's cool.
Ultimate Edition, no less.
Yes, it comes obviously with the bandana, as you can
Gets the
see.
purple rag hanging out the
Yep.
right side, only on the back side.
Yeah.
That's the Balor side or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, he has some of the world's worst tattoos, so
Yes, he does.
it is kind of funny that
Covered with Iverson sleeves.
he's got the weird tattoo arms. He obviously has, like you said, the Allen Iverson sleeves, with three different heads, which is kind of cool. That you got smiling Finn, I guess angry Finn, and disgruntled Finn. I don't know what the best way to put it, but it is kind of cool. You have the multiple different hands to do like the bang bang. I guess the finger point thing when he does the coup de
Oh,
grace. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but it's kind of cool. I mean, Finn's had a number of figures. But to have an ultimate
he was
Judgment
OO
Day.
and long before Cody.
Yeah.
Everyone just got behind that OO.
This never stops with you. Um, but yeah, so it is kind of cool to see a Judgment Day street trash, if you will. Um, Finn Balor, which I still think is the dumbest thing they've ever done. But when we cover
It's a
really
great
bad,
action figure.
when we cover really bad shirts, that'll probably be on there. But we'll get to that at some point.
Let's head to Ultimate Edition and let's
Yeah,
talk about
solo.
Solo.
So this is obviously, I'm kind of hoping for a Suge Knight Sikoa version with the suit at some point. But again, this is another one with three different heads. It's the 3D scan. It's got the towel, which is kind of funny that it comes with the towel, because has he done the towel?
Not
Like,
recently, but honestly, the one thing that I do love is it's one of the best taped thumbs
yes,
that I've seen. That sticks out to me. The towel he hasn't done in a while, but I do still think when he wrestles in singles competition, that's something you're gonna get.
yeah. I
Like,
think. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. I do agree with you though. I do laugh at the replaceable one of the thumb. Is it just me, or does it look like it's just extra tape? It doesn't look.
yeah, it is interesting there, but I still think because that's kind of how he's taped the wrist,
Yes.
that it fits, and I like it. It's a great figure, but to your point, the towel, maybe A suited figure would be excellent. I'm all over that.
Yes, I'm waiting for the suit and one because I will 100% call Chuck Knight Sikoa.
Yes.
But yeah, so it is very cool. The shorts are awesome, and it is a great figure. I'm hoping the actual one looks as good as the 3D scans appear right now.
Totally. Okay, let's keep it rolling though.
Yes. Obviously, this is Zoey Stark's first figure at San Diego Comic-Con. She was sitting there with CM Punk, and they showed her, and she got emotional about it, which, as you would,
Yes.
it's one of those things that I heard Triple H say once too. He said, "I knew I made it when I saw my first action figure. Like it doesn't get old. To see yourself immortalized in figure form is a very cool thing." As you know, Clark, I do have a Spider-Man figure of my own like this, and it's kind of fun. So
no, I don't blame you.
But yeah, so it is kind of cool. Zoe's getting an elite. She's really not doing much on TV, which is a shame. But cool figure nonetheless. I got to be honest, the jacket reminds me very Two-Face because it's split down the middle, half blue and half red.
Well, and I love that they included the knee brace as well.
The knee brace is awesome, yeah.
For use. I mean, honestly, this is a cool figure. And like you said, the moment of her finding out that she got her first figure is so iconic.
Yes.
And so deserved. Zoey Stark, a heck of a performer.
Yeah.
Or Zoey Starks, I apologize. A heck of a performer, no doubt. Let's move on, though.
Yes.
Bron Breakker. And he's got the the wolf mask.
Yeah, it is kind of disappointing. You're not going to get the matching Baron Corbin to go with it.
Yeah.
But, it's very hard for a second generation talent to make a mark. And I know a lot of people complained when he came in that he didn't have the Steiner name. And I agreed with it to a point. But the problem is this. When you put a legend, a Hall of Famer's name on your name, there's a lot of added extra pressure on it. It's the reason why The Rock came in as Rocky Maivia and not as Rocky Johnson's son. Obviously, the Maivia name is synonymous, but again, the High Chief was mostly Hawaiian. He wasn't as mainstream with a lot of that stuff. So there was a little bit of cover, and obviously this is pre the internet really taking off and anybody really knowing. I mean, they mentioned his legacy, but Rocky was obviously famous with the tag team as opposed to a single star. But you look at somebody like Charlotte Flair, has an immense pressure on her. Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. These are people that had an insane amount of pressure on them because of who their parents were, and there have been a lot of talent that did not live up to the hype. For every Charlotte Flair, there's a David Sammartino that didn't reach the height of his father.
I did not have David Sammartino on my bingo card for today, Anthony.
But when you
talk about blasts from the past, though.
Well, I mean,
sorry, that just got me.
I mean, listen, your father's the longest reigning WWF champion of all time. But Bron Breakker is making one to his own. Obviously, he held NXT Tag Gold. He's been Intercontinental Champion. He is 100% a future WWE champion unless something catastrophic happens. This guy is a future world champion regardless.
Absolutely.
He's an amazing talent that will only continue to get better and carve a legacy. Will he eventually take the Steiner name? I think he will at some point because it would make sense. But his father was the dog-faced gremlin, and he kind of embraced the dog in this. So I think it's a really cool. It's good. Probably the only time you're going to get the wolf head. I will
say one thing.
Yep.
I like everything about the figure, other than that the dog head is corny as funk.
You saved yourself there. This is not taken to the table.
It's corny as funk.
Yes. But
yeah. And I actually like funk music, so you know what I really meant.
Yeah, I know what
you're listening.
Yes.
It's corny as corny. It's like a bounce house at a teenage birthday party.
Yes.
It's corny.
I got
It doesn't work. It's like bringing a magician to graduation.
Yes.
It's too late now. That was fun in elementary school.
So speaking of former NXT champions like Bron,
And I like the mythical stuff, but he's not mythical.
So as far as NXT champions, how about the guy that he feuded with? So for our main event here, let's go on to our
Let's
last
talk
and final
about him.
one.
Ilya.
Dragunov.
Dragunov.
There's not too many men that could wear a robe like that and still be considered a tough guy.
And you get the full NXT title, though. This is a great figure. Honestly,
yes.
Jokes aside, this is
Yes.
a really good action figure.
Yes. I've always, to me, the cloth goods robes always, to me, add a level of authenticity to me. Like if for display, if you're displaying it, I think it's a really cool thing to have. I think it pops a little bit more than the rubber ones. Just and this is the type of robe you can kind of do it with. I know
it's a legit cloth robe. Like it's one of those ones that, like, especially if you're somebody that unboxes and displays, that you take care of that, right?
Yeah,
to make sure specific to that. And then not only that, if you're a kid that plays with them, it's important too, because everybody's got to get the entrance right.
Well, and honestly, those are easier to take off as a kid to do the entrance, as opposed to the rubber ones, because the rubber ones could rip and all this other stuff. So it's easier from that end too.
Get the splits, they're easier to fix. If you do have like a tear in the cloth,
you could sew it.
You got a mother with a with the sewing machine in your dial.
So, but just as a whole, I think it's a pretty good likeness to him. Obviously, it's got the title. You got a couple different hands to pose him with. And it's a really cool thing. I'm very much looking forward to when his eventual return. Obviously, we don't know when that's going to be. I have no inside information, but within a matter of a month or so, we have the Rumble. So
we'll see it.
We'll see what happens.
It's a royal one, in fact.
Yes.
No less. It's not just a regular Rumble. It's a royal Rumble.
But so that is what we got for you this week.
Thank you so much for tuning in, by the way. That brings us to the end of the show. On behalf of me, Clark Taylor, Anthony Ricciardi, everybody here at WR, check out everything we've got going on. Sold separately every single week, no less.
Yep.
Stay tuned if you're a collector. And if you're not just a collector, but you want to check out other stuff, check out our other stuff, because we have great things going on with the daily broadcast and everything else. Thank you once again, though, on behalf of me and Anthony. Have an excellent day, and we will talk to everybody soon.